Admit it.
The topics we discuss are many.
No story too bold to talk about.
Strictly our own opinions.
But they are opinions from people like you.
Welcome to the NAKE'd podcast.
Who still has up Christmas decoration in their house? This guy.
Who barely took down their Christmas decorations not too long ago? This girl and that guy. My button fell.
I worked on my garden this weekend with this dude. What's up? It's your DM Tech Alan. I don't know who these two are.
Nope.
No.
If you don't know, now you know.
What else?
Having extra days off where I just get to relax. Hi, it's Keelan.
Are you liking your garden so far, Alan?
Yeah, it's great. Watered it yesterday. Just paying attention to it today.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
It hasn't blown away.
No, not yet. Although I definitely think something's been digging around the garden because I think I lost 2 broccoli. There's like 2 particularly deeper holes that I don't remember making. But the rest of everything else is still there. Yeah.
It's like we're the Pawnee. We have a raccoon problem.
Right.
We can set up some traps. You can make a hat.
I would domesticate him.
In order to domesticate a raccoon, you have to get the baby like right when they're still nursing.
I've seen one roll down a hallway, and that's all I want to do is teach a raccoon how to roll.
Sounds adorable.
I just want to teach the raccoon to like sweep up.
I'm like, come here, you little trash panda. You're so fucking cuddly.
Exactly. Happy
Sticker says it's MLK Day, a day to reflect and remember and be lazy if you don't have to work. We had some communication, and it was saying something like, because we don't observe it as a company, and it was just like, MLK said that this is a day of service, not a day off, and I had to laugh a little bit. Okay, Justin.
I can kind of hear him saying, after he said his pivotal "I have a dream" speech, I also hear him say, and also have the 17th of January off. I remember hearing him say that.
Third Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Third
I was
Monday.
like, oh, it's not his birthday, right? Like they didn't pick his birthday. What was the semblance of January 17th, I guess? Or the third Monday of January?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
The same thing for like Memorial Day. Memorial Day is what, like the last Monday of the month in May? Washington's Day is like the 4th Sunday of February.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just read Snickers' comment. If it was acceptable fast from work. See, that'd be nice.
I don't think fasting works that way. Hey, that's my cut.
His birthday is January 15th, and the date was chosen because it was close to his date of birth from 1929.
Why not just put it on January 15th then?
Because I guess it's easier to, if it's a federal holiday, to arrange all the federal workers to be off.
Make sure you get that Monday off every year.
That's fair.
So you're saying we have to accommodate all the white workers?
I'm sorry, what?
What?
The federal workers? We have to accommodate them for Martin Luther King Day? What the hell's up with that, man?
Oh. So, you want to tell us?
Artemis is like.
Artemis is making a lot of noise.
Artemis.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait for her so you can tell us about what's going on with the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, we're all gonna be super silent.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Who was the first to break? That one.
So tell us what's going on
So-
over at the Joe Rogan Experience, Ethan.
You're
Okay, so I was just messing with you. But so over there, I don't know if you heard last year he made a big move to Spotify
Mm-hmm.
off of YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people questioned why would you go to Spotify or YouTube for a video format, podcast. And nobody understood. But recently come out that Joe Rogan had Dr. Malone and a few other doctors on the Joe Rogan Experience. And these episodes have been pretty much banned by YouTube and heavily censored because Dr. Robert Malone, who is actually founded or credited with founding the technology that built the vaccine, was talking about mRNA vaccines. So, yeah, that's like as deep as it gets, right? There's no, it wasn't like the Don't Look Up where he's looking in the camera, we're all gonna die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were just having a simple conversation and like a small discussion over it, which shouldn't be an issue. But I don't know, why is it being censored so much?
So, was he actually the creator of it? Because I read a lot of stuff that like discredited him from being the sole creator of
No,
mRNA.
he's not the sole creator, but he is the person accredited for doing it. Like, even Pfizer credits him for the technology that they used to make the vaccine. So, yeah, I guess that's a murky water of like, did he do it or not? But that's why I said he's the one accredited for it currently.
Okay.
So was it censored? Because like I think Joe Rogan, because of his deal with Spotify, he can only upload videos to YouTube in like clips, like segments, right?
Yeah, he
And
only
that-
does clips, yeah.
Yeah, and then
On
that
YouTube.
segment was removed.
But the ones but it was being removed, so like it didn't matter if somebody copied and posted it. It was being removed like automatically from multiple sources at once. Like it was actively censored.
Well, I know that Dr. Malone has had a lot of heat under his ass because he's been spreading a lot of misinformation.
Yeah, he's suspended from Twitter.
Yeah. He's suspended from
He
Twitter
was
right now for
suspended from
spreading
Twitter for over
false
this-
information.
Well, not false information. He's just spreading his opinion and what he knows. But the people at Twitter, so that's the thing, right? So Twitter suspends him.
Mhm.
Who at Twitter is a medical doctor that practices in the field, right? Like, even if the guy is, so right now, the only reason that Robert Malone is being censored is because he's not following the government mandated narrative about COVID, right? If you speak out in any way or you dissent against it in any way, you're misinformation. And that's how a lot of people are being labeled. And just because I don't think he's being misinformation, like there's information that he's giving out and he's giving out his opinion. Like I mean, I watched the interview. There's not, I mean, he questions a lot of things, but he never says, if you take the vaccine, you're going to die. He says like, hey, I'm even vaccinated, right? Like, but there's possibilities for things to happen.
So, okay, like when we upload our videos to YouTube, it goes through like a processing thing, but it's like normally like pretty quick to like post and you can publish right away. So why like Joe Rogan in particular? Like that's an interesting to me. Like regardless of whoever was on a show or interview, like you said it happened so quick. Like how did that happen? Like is he actively being sought out?
So
like how fast was this? It was uploaded to
What?
Spotify. Then what happened?
It's not Spotify. So Spotify can't do anything to Joe Rogan right now. Like Spotify employees, we've talked about it before. Spotify
Yeah.
employees are hell bent on canceling Joe Rogan. But okay, So the episode with Robert Malone got over 40 million views across all platforms. And that's Joe Rogan's recorded numbers. CNN gets 100,000 viewers per night.
Oh wow.
That's why, because they can't control it. He can't. So we had reports of from Biden coming out, right? So Biden sent out people to each news network to discuss the framing and the bad press that the Biden administration was getting, right? Biden can't do that. He can't send somebody over to Joe Rogan and say, hey, let's discuss how you're doing things here. So what better way than to just shut it down and silence it? Yeah, fat cat.
Beans.
So there was a couple other things in the interview. I saw like a couple of clips. I didn't watch the whole thing. Like he had made a couple of statements, but YouTube hasn't gave a definitive reason why it was removed, but it's like suggested that it violated community guidelines, and I think that's a problem too.
Yeah. So
I think that's a problem. They're not being specific exactly if they're monitoring for this.
It's like the whole banning of Dr. Disrespect with no reasoning from for Twitch. Like it's the exact same thing. You can't just, if you have your community guidelines, you have to stick to them. You can't just blanket ban something because it sort of fits your community guidelines. Like, oh, it's close to this rule, just fucking ban it. Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
So what was he going on about, like mass formation psychosis? Like, what exactly is that? I couldn't really find anything about it.
Yeah, so it was just a theory that he's been working on and building, and it's when we watch the apes, right? So when we watch apes, have you ever heard the experiment of the water, right? So apes, you put bananas in the middle, right? So if an ape climbs up, they get a banana. Well, you shoot the apes with water, then they'll stop other apes from going up there, and they'll attack and beat and do whatever they can so that nobody gets sprayed with water. And even if you stop spraying with water and you introduce new apes, the older apes will beat those newer apes and still teach the same cycles, right? So you're mass conditioning somebody or a group of people, and that's what he was leading towards, is the mass condition of compliance with large quantities of people, which would be the population of the United States.
Okay, I kind of get it. Dom, what's up?
What? Dom, hello.
So, I mean, I guess one example you can say is if you see the group of people surrounding and attacking somebody, like we've seen the videos more early on in the pandemic, but if you saw an unmasked person, a horde of people would go and like surround him and start yelling at him. Well, you've more or less hypnotized those populations that everybody has to wear a mask or we're all going to die. So then the social enforcement of items are easier than the authoritarian enforcement of sending the police. And actually, when he's talking about this, he's talking about how Trump did it to people, right? like that's some of the where you don't get where they, there's some people say Trump was a master hypnotist and he hypnotized a lot of people, right? And that was why you get the Trump derangement syndrome and all those. Crazy, but like that's some of the items that they were talking about, but we can't even talk about or discuss because it's against the community guidelines of YouTube. So is YouTube now controlling what is published? So are they now publishers? Right?
That's been a subject of conversation for like the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's been some intense scrutiny, yeah.
So what is Joe Rogan doing about this? Like, can he do anything or
I mean, he's talking shit, but that's about it. But this is why he left YouTube, right? Like they're just proving him right. So what can he do? But they're, they're getting as much publicity and talking about the aspect as they can, because this isn't the first time YouTube has done this path. And, if you're solely on YouTube and that's your source of income and you can't freely express your opinions on there, then there you go. Like, what do we do? And at a certain point, private corporations, there's more people on YouTube and using YouTube than that are in the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it clearly has power.
Yeah, though TikTok creators have switched to YouTube. Twitch creators, streamers are switching to YouTube to get more into content creation. Like that makes sense. And then there are those longtime YouTubers, like controversial ones, like Philip Franco, Tim Cast, and some other ones that I can't think off the top of my head, that continuously have suppression issues because of some of the topics that they talk about. That's been a constant issue for years, and it's not something new. That's just coming to the woodworks. It's just being exacerbated by Joe Rogan being targeted now, or a segment
it's like a storefront.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's like a storefront, right? Like if you have your store, right, you can stock whatever you want in the store, right? You can put whatever rules you want, and the consumer, the shopper, makes the decision to shop there. Same thing with like YouTube content or just content in general. If you choose to subscribe to those ideas, or if you choose to listen to them, that's your prerogative. Now, what you do with that information is up to you. And I think that that's where it gets dicey, is because a lot of people are saying, well, like these people have influence on what sways public opinion and it has to be the truth. Well, it may be your truth, but that's not their truth, or it's not the actual facts. And I think that's where it gets like super like muddy and messy. But I personally don't think that YouTube should be censoring things like that. I think that we do have freedom of speech, and regardless if you agree or align or whatever, that's kind of your responsibility, your personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm. And in this particular matter, you have a corporation censoring a doctor, saying that the doctor's advice goes against the corporation's statement, so you can't have the doctor's advice, right? Like, in a way, when the YouTube is not a medically trained doctor who studied the field and, was involved in the technology themselves. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't agree with what he's saying, he's at least worth hearing out, or hearing what he has to say, and then allowing people to make that choice of, this guy's crazy, or, hey, this is interesting. But YouTube's taking that away. Like, they are taking away the error of choice and forcing content upon people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can, like, your everyday content creator do? That maybe, because YouTube has such a big influence internationally, what other avenues can they use?
Well, other platforms for sure. So just like in your financial aspect, right? Diversify your platforms. There's no reason you're only on YouTube, right? YouTube's not, as a small creator, YouTube's not paying us. So like even us, we're not big enough to get YouTube partnership, right? Like it's outrageously hard. And then on top of it, they're already running ads and getting revenue on our content that we don't get paid for. Right? And it's the cost of doing business, right? But there's other platforms that are way more rewarding and more encouraging to people. And so it's not always a problem to hedge your bets, right? Like reach out to those alternative texts and try it out. Like the least you can do is just try it. If you don't like it, there are plenty more to pick from.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And even like Spotify is doing video. Venmo does video. Like there are a lot of different options, and you don't need all your videos curated anymore, right? Like YouTube was built because there was billions of videos that needed to be funneled and curated. Well, we're a little past that, and we have a little bit more technology and information now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the end of the day, the big question that we need to ask ourselves, especially, when we're thinking about voting and other items, is our congressperson understand that if Google has moved to the point where they can claim they're a global corporation and they don't need to follow the United States rules anymore, then we no longer need to allow them the protections of 230 or other items like that and allow them to fend for themselves,
Google's gonna end up starting its own country.
A virtual country.
Yeah, I'm not for that. I'm not for any company-owned cities or countries, or even a street. Like, no, you're not allowed. Not for that.
I mean, companies own property.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a Zillow.
Right.
So you're just talking about like their home base being in the U.S. and that's how they're protected, or
They're a registered company in the United States, so they are supposed to be following United States law, but they claim that we are an international company and we have to follow everybody's laws, blah blah blah.
Pertaining to that country.
yeah, when you're
So-
doing the
Like there are creators, right? They could be a creator in the United States and they'll get a warning that their video violated the law in Germany or violated the law in Australia.
Kind of like how already now with certain YouTube series, you can't watch them outside of the country. Like, I was trying to look at something on a Reddit post, and someone had posted a link. Went to the link, said, "Sorry, this YouTube video is not allowed in your country." Like, I get those, and we live in the United States.
yeah, I think those are fine, but you can't penalize a creator when something is against the law in a different country. Like they don't live in that country, so they technically don't have to follow those laws.
And that's the really murky water that like YouTube has to trek and walk through, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if they're going to violate our laws, why are we still writing laws to protect them?
Yeah.
Speaking about protecting people, there's no real good way to segue into this, so I'm just gonna do it.
You want to
there is a good way.
down?
Norma always has the best way.
There is a good way to segment this. Okay, so Supreme Court recently made a decision about like the whole COVID or vaccine mandate, but for healthcare workers, and that has stirred up a lot of unrest, even causing a strike. Another one.
This isn't your average run-of-the-mill Kellogg strike. This is a United States-wide nurse strike. Like, these nurses that are going on strike are pissed about.
Good. And they should be.
Oh, absolutely. Like 12 plus working hours, almost 7 working days a week. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Right now they're struggling with worker shortages and burnouts. They've lost about 540,000 jobs between February 2020 and September 21. The union is also calling on the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to strengthen the isolation recommendation for healthcare workers and the public, adding that the latest guidelines are motivated by employers. Because remember how it went from like, oh, hey, remember those 10 days of quarantine? Yeah, 5 is fine. And then they went back to 10.
Well, that's because Delta Airlines asked for it.
And the nurses, the union is also calling, hold on. I had it just here in the thing. They're saying that all the recommendations that are being made for the pandemic are pro-employer instead of pro-employee, and they're demanding that be changed immediately, which I can agree. Every single stipulation that I've seen come out, except for, okay, maybe not every one of them, a few of them, have been very pro-employer. instead of like pro-employee. Like, we're all fucking people here. How's about we protect all of us instead of trying to protect the economy? Like, the economy's already falling. It's already failing.
One thing I've learned in our anti-work is HR is not there to protect you. HR is there to protect the company.
100%.
Yep.
And that's what's up.
I'm also an anti-work. Great subreddit.
Hey, everybody needs to work, man. It gives your life purpose. The problem is people need to find work that give their life purpose.
And for a lot of these nurses, like, this was their purpose. But, you know, with the rise of hospitalizations, like right now in Texas, bed utilization I saw earlier today was at 88%. Like 88% of hospitals are full. We shouldn't be at this level. We should be lower. And I understand that we're still going through our Omicron wave. In the UK, it's already seeing how the Omicron variant is disappearing and the Delta's coming back. Like, we need to stay on top of this. And we need to treat our nurses with more respect.
We do. And I think I'm not fully versed in their demands of the nurse strike or why they're fully on strike, but I would think that some of the vaccine mandate for healthcare workers, like you're probably going to have a lot of nurses that are willing to work but don't want to take the vaccine. So you'd rather have that mandate than those nurses.
Yeah.
And that's the feel that I think a lot of people get. Like, you'll rather have that control than actually work on the problem.
I think too, like, it's just been really tough. Like, for example, a really blue state, California, their governor required vaccinations for healthcare workers since like August, and their vaccination rates have definitely gone up considerably. But with this variant, I mean, it's not just staffing shortage, it's equipment shortages, it's bed shortages, it's much needed equipment to protect the nurses. Like, even if unvaccinated, like, they don't have the necessary equipment to protect themselves. Like, most people who go into that job don't go into it for the money, right? Like, you know, it's long hours, you know that it's a tough job, but you're there to save lives. And when you get to that breaking point of like, gosh, these nurses already work weird shifts, 12 hours a piece, but when you do that consistently for going on 3 years now, or 2 years now, like, that's tough. Like, any person would break from that. And like, even like Alan was saying, like, our bed utilization is like 88%. Like, even like in our county, like, our positive test rates are like way up. You know, the last 2 weeks, like, we've had in our county 68 deaths from that. Across the U.S., 150,000 are hospitalized. Like, that's a large number across the U.S. for COVID related, you know, issues.
And that's not even bringing up the equipment, the PPE equipment shortage that's still been an ongoing issue for nurses and for other hospital staff.
But I mean, we've had a supply issue on those items since the beginning of the pandemic. My question is, what have we done? What has any governor or any official done to help alleviate that? Have they funneled funding to a mask plant here, or a gown plant, a glove plant? Like, have they tried to build jobs plus to solve the supply issue?
No, they really haven't. That's a good fucking point too.
Just like, remember that it was a brewery that started making hand sanitizer when it was like completely gone. Like, what about like opportunities like that? Like, shouldn't they give like a grant or like a tax break to companies that are wanting to, you know, like, contribute more?
Like that. Okay, if they threw Trojan a tax break to make gloves, you don't think Trojan can do it? They probably have it up and running in a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 2-3 weeks, they're producing gloves.
I can already hear their oh my god, their slogan. Why trust someone else with your gloves and the people that you trust to stop pregnancies?
It will break.
And I think, the current administration approval ratings have been really bad since October. And I think that's when a lot of this wave started, and that's because people see like the monoclonal antibodies. Putting the government in the middle of that, I think, was a horrible plan, right? Because the states that wanted them and were using them had supplies, they were getting it, the states were doing it. Then the federal government stepped in and said, well, we're going to manage it and we're going to disperse it how we see fit. And that right there caused a supply shortage.
Yeah.
So again, I think the only way for any governor or any official, president, whatever, right now, is to start getting out of the way and let people make masks. A mask plant probably is not that hard. Like, we probably could have built one if we started at the beginning of this already.
Yeah.
But too, where are you gonna get the materials to make that mask? It's what, paper and cloth? We're already running out of trees.
I don't know. Hemp, Colorado.
There you go.
That's a good point. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of solutions, and I think that's why we're in so much turmoil right now on a lot of these items like this, is because there's solutions that the common everyday man can see, but nobody wants to do it because they don't want to look like the bad guy, or they don't want bad political press, or they don't want this.
It's because
we need a leader to get creative. For sure. Like, proposing these ideas and bringing it out there instead of the same old song and dance of yelling at each other. Like, fucking do something. These nurses are just so strung out. I mean, I was reading a story, I think on the Texas Tribune, of this nurse. She's like, I work anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week. I don't see my children. I don't see my husband. And then I come to work and I get yelled at by patients because there's not enough of us to go around. There's not enough equipment. And I, basically have to treat you and send you home. She's like, it's just not fair. Like, the work is not rewarding at all. And you can't blame them for that. You really can't. They're in a thankless fucking job. We went from celebrating our healthcare workers, singing to them in New York, to being like, fuck you guys, and what you need and the supplies that you need to do your job to make sure that we're okay. Like, if our whole health system just like shattered overnight, like, what is that going to do in terms of pandemic and then economy? Like, that's like a big thing to worry about.
And go ahead.
No, the healthcare industry, right? Medicare and Medicaid are 60% of the United States budget, right? So you just think about that right there, of 60% of our budget that we spend money on is the healthcare industry.
Do you know that?
So for that to shatter or fall apart, it would just cascade horribly.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest employer for healthcare personnel is Hospital Corporation of America. They have hospitals from here in San Antonio all the way up the East Coast. The second biggest one is Kaiser Permanente in California. The third biggest one is Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic. Like, I used to work for a company that made it a habit of buying other companies that had technology in healthcare. Like, yeah. I know that all these companies will be affected in these massive fucking areas, and it's not going to be fucking pretty. Like, the minute nurses stop helping, or like just like this whole strike, once it gets bigger, it's going to get nasty, and we may see more deaths.
Well, the National Nurses United, that's the union, they have close to 2,000 members across the U.S. That's 2,000 healthcare workers. That's a lot. That's a big chunk. It's like the size of a small city.
200,000. That's bigger than a lot of small cities.
Do y'all remember pinstripers or candy cane stripes?
Yeah.
Remember?
So.
Yeah.
And they used to have you used to be able to go volunteer at a hospital, and they would give you a special gown, and that everybody knew you're a volunteer. Like, we don't even have that anymore, right? Like, concepts like that would greatly help most of these nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He goes into like on the hospitals where they don't want to spend any money to train these people into things that they want to do, like, because it's just a volunteer. I mean, like, going to the hospital is such a weird experience. Like, you have your surgeon's fee, you have the hospital fee, you have the anesthesiologist fee, you have lab test fees. Like, it's all separated, number one. And number two, like, it's basically like doctors rent out like an operating room.
Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a 3-month stint at this hospital and then move to another hospital.
Or like your physician's on call at the hospital, so they get the on call, they don't answer, they get someone else. Like, this shit's common. And when you get billed, you don't get billed by the one person, you get billed by 3.
So
Yeah. Always make sure to ask for an itemized.
Yep.
Yep.
Learn that rule. So these nurses, like, who are they striking? Like, you're striking kind of like against like their hospitals, but like from what I read, they're kind of trying to hold the administration more accountable for other things. How can the administration do anything else beyond what's already been trying to be done versus basically the hospital protocols? Because I know the hospitals really don't want to get in between like the federal government and their employers or employees. So like who are they striking against? What's the outcome?
They're striking against both. What they want is they want better working conditions. They want more nurses being hired. They want more equipment, and they want better schedules than the 60 to 80 hours a week.
So, but I mean, so how would we get people to fill those positions of a highly skilled position unless some of the demands, it's like, how do we meet those demands though, right? Like better working conditions. How do we make hospitals better? Or, how do we produce more nurses to clone them? Or
I think cloning is still illegal. But I get what you're getting at, yeah.
I think it takes, about 4 years to become a registered nurse?
2.
2?
2. Last I remember. Was it 4?
I'll look at those.
So there was another nurses strike that ended literally days before this new strike began, and that was the St. Vincent nurses strike. And they only had, I think, like approximately like 1,000 nurses under like who they were representing, and they were on strike for 10 months. And hold on, I'm looking up there. The hospital agreed to implement new raises and safety regulations, limit the number of patients assigned to nurses in some departments, and address staffing shortages as part of the nurses' new contract. So, like, the staffing is definitely the most important, but how do you get people to come back to these positions, right? Like, they left because either they didn't want to get vaccinated and they had to get vaccinated, or they just couldn't take the working conditions. Like, their personal life was in shambles and they had to do something else. So, like, how do you mitigate that in the middle of it, right? Like, say, okay, we have better working conditions, but we can't have better working hours until we have more people in place, but we can't get more people until we have, like, more hours to spread around between everybody else. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like a lot of this is a no-win situation for everyone involved, So, like, nurse goes on strike. Now you have a backlog. So the nurses that didn't go on strike have to work harder. You can't replace the nurses and you can't alleviate the nurses because, it's a highly trained skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You know what we need? We need that thing where they put you in a virtual reality and you can live like a year in 5 minutes.
Like in Rick and Morty, that one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the problem is opening it up to volunteers or religious groups, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I think the only way to relieve nurses is to get volunteers in there.
In the interim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know, like, if they're having, like, a meeting or, like, a protest, or, like, are they going to show up on the steps of Capitol Hill? Like, what's going to happen?
They're going to storm the halls of Congress.
So right now, they don't have any plans to actually start picketing out anywhere. Right now, it's in talks to approve the strike. But once the strike is approved, they will be picketing, I believe, outside their respective hospitals. That information has not been shared with us yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a great example where, you know, if, like, you can say they can blame Biden all they want for this thing, but how he has any effect on this, right? Like, you look at it as Congress. Congress can do so much more. Congress can say, hey, healthcare workers can't work over 60 hours, right? Pass a law. Mm-hmm. Hey, we always talk about minimum wage. Okay, well, nurses have to have, during pandemics, a minimum wage of this, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, we can say, as long as you're in school for nursing, you're able to volunteer or work part-time at a hospital. Like, they can loosen some restrictions and other things, but I just don't see how the president can really help in this situation.
So apparently, okay, I did a little bit of sleuthing on the nationalnursesunited.org website. nationalnursesunited.org. That's literally their URL. So one of the things that was ripped away was the critical protections for healthcare workers and the public, which is something that the CDC was kind of in control of too. But the two things that the NNU did do is they held a virtual press conference on the 13th of January. They held a candlelit vigil for the fallen nurses that same day, later in the evening, right in front of the White House. And according to the NNU president, if none of the resolutions have been met, then they will continue with further action. So right now there is no strike, but they are leading up to it.
Lose situation all around.
Nobody wins. Yeah.
Well, another lose situation and another thing to check off your bingo card. Wildfires. So we have a friend that's in Colorado. Thankfully, he was not impacted by the Colorado fires that happened in Boulder. It's like about 900 to 1,000 homes were destroyed. You know, like tens of thousands of people were evacuated. But the question is like, where did the fire stem from, right? Like in California, there was fire started by a gender reveal party. You know, how was it just conditions? Officials say that it can take like weeks to really determine the cause of it. They rolled out that it was a fallen power line, but they have eyes on this one particular religious sect cult called 12 Tribes. And so there was like video of this building on fire on their property, and that's kind of where it stemmed from. Like they isolated where the fire started. But shortly after the burn, they had a bunch of snowfall too. So a lot of things are kind of like up in the air, and a lot of debris. There's just a lot of things for officials to go through. But they think that it stemmed from this property. And in this religious sect, it's called 12 Tribes. And it's kind of like almost similar to like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say like Mormon meets Amish, but kind of. They're international, self-governing. community. They have ties in North America, South America, Europe, Australia. They have like cafes in Colorado. It's a deli. And, you know, they have strict adherence to the Old and New Testament. They've been like on the FBI's watch list for cults because they have like a history of child abuse. So it's really interesting, like how this is all coming about. And it's interesting how careful the media is to not label them as a cult. They just label them as a religious sect. But I've never heard of this particular religious sect. In this particular one, it was like founded in Tennessee by some guy in the 1920s. And it just slowly started getting a lot bigger. So it'll be interesting to see like the outcome of this, like if it was started by this religious sect and what was like the reasoning. Was it just an accident, or like, you know, that this caught the dryness of Colorado and the winds, or was it something more sinister? But it looks like just an accident. But it's interesting how the media is like kind of tiptoeing around this certain cult.
They don't know which way to go yet, so they're like, we're just gonna ride this border till we know which side to just go bam on.
Yeah, these poor people like displaced. I mean, 900 homes damaged, and then people are in shelter. Like 30,000 people were in shelters, and then snow fell right after that. Can you imagine?
That's just horrible.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Hopefully not here.
Prepare anyway.
People at work, they live in the Northeast, and they're like, oh yeah, we got snow and all this other snow. And as a Texan, I feel so triggered. Or your wildfires.
You shut up with your snow.
Stay at your home, snow. Stay at your home.
Yeah. That's all I got. I'll keep a close eye on this one. I'll let you guys know if something else was awry.
I don't know. They sound pretty suspicious. Like, they had a fire, and then everything else in the area caught fire.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't like researching it. You know, they're kind of like old school. They don't like do media or TV or anything like that. It's kind of like an Amish way of living, and these people, they have like restaurants and stuff. That's how they support themselves. So I don't know. It could have just been an accident.
So they're kind of like Mennonites. Like
that's probably a better comparison.
Yeah. They live like the Amish, but they use technology, and they commune with the communities around them.
Commune.
What's up?
A commune?
I mean,
I don't know what a Mennonite is.
Yeah, it's exactly like the Amish. Yeah, same. Okay. Only the Mennonites actually communicate and talk to and have their dealings with the communities around them.
It's the Amish's go-to between the English and the Amish.
It's not quite. What is it called? Something Springer.
Rumspringer.
Rumspringer, yeah. Rumspringer.
That means run wild. That's your...
I've been watching a lot of Letterkenny, so I learned a lot today.
I was gonna say Amish Mafia.
Yeah, but we don't refer to them like that.
It's a TV show.
It is a TV show. Yeah. Like on the same channel as Naked and Afraid.
so the people on the TV show are Mennonites.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't know they had a show. Man.
Well, the Amish can't be on the show.
Well, of course.
They had Mennonites, and that was they go between.
Wouldn't it suck if you're Amish and you finally got your Rumspringer and then you came out to the world and it's like, pandemic! Fuck this, I'm going back home.
Yeah, there's a meme that goes around. And yeah, and they go, why hasn't coronavirus affected the Amish? We don't have TV.
I love learning about like different types of communities. Like I watch a lot of documentaries about like how people live, and you know, like may not be my cup of tea, but if people find solace in it, then and they're not hurt, then I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a big thing right now that everyone just needs to work on, like just letting people live. Like we can coexist, right?
Well,
Damn
peacock.
hippies.
We're peacocks. You got to let us fly.
Fly in your lane.
God,
Exactly.
damn. Ow.
There you go.
I am in my lane.
When you're flying, just don't shit on me, okay? Right? Just fly ahead of us, fly in your own lane.
I don't know. That could be followed up with, well, don't fly under me.
Well, Alan flies like turkey all over the place.
Yep.
In short distances.
Yep.
So
I don't fly. I run.
You're ostrich.
Have y'all been able to watch the historical documents on Netflix?
The historical documents.
Oh, you mean what happens to humanity?
Yeah.
Don't look up yet.
Right, Puzzle? We finally watched the historical documents.
Oh, we transition. I'll be like, one thing on our apocalyptic bingo was an asteroid. And thankfully, that hasn't hit us. But we have the movie. Don't look up.
Technically, we had an asteroid nearly miss us by like a couple 100,000 kilometers.
Still kind of
But
too
it
close for
didn't
comfort.
hit.
Yeah. But also, there wasn't any rare minerals on that one. It was just a rock. So.
Oh yeah, if there were rare minerals, you know the United States would be trying to go up there and mine them out.
Oh, okay. So huge asteroid passes Earth today. It's 1 kilometer. How big was the one in Don't Look Up?
5 to
9.
10.
9. Still pretty big. How stressed were you watching that movie?
Little bit stressed because it was really fucking accurate.
I was laughing the whole time. I don't know, I was stressed. Hilarious.
I was just like, how is this real life?
Like,
How?
This is totally what would happen.
Yeah.
So we were putting the names of the character or the characters to who they were actually portraying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, I was like, Jason and his mom is totally Trump Jr. and Trump. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Totally.
I see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We were talking about that. I was like, Meryl had to be so ostentatious because we've seen it before, Meryl. Like, we've seen it.
but that's funny. It was that moment where like it all flipped, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna work together." That's when you could tell like they flipped, and she was trying to be like more the, I'm gonna work with big tech like it is now, right? Because that's the whole thing is like, oh, Google makes a phone call and Joe Biden does or they work together. And so I thought it was hilarious the mixture they did on all the characters. Because, like I forgot her name, the one they named the comet after,
Lawrence's
Banowski.
character.
Banowski, right? Or Don Banowski. Like
Banowski.
even her,
Banowski.
yeah, even her giant flip and like switch, like she was all edgy and cool at the beginning, and then after that she was all quiet and okay, cool. I'll just accept this.
Because she lost her shit on national television and she was memed.
Right.
But I think that it's like a perfect metaphor to like how America can women like as hysterics, and then you have like Leo DiCaprio who's like, oh, he's daddy scientist, daddy astrologer.
But see, right there,
Astronomer.
in both instances, it was everybody made fun of Jennifer Lawrence's, but only women sexualized him.
Flip the script.
Even the TV host, yeah, that was disgusting. His poor wife, I felt really bad for.
Yeah.
But at the end, like she got her moment when she's like, "Oh yeah, I fucked what's his name."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acknowledge. And I told you guys this before, but the funniest part of that movie was Jennifer trying to figure out why the Pentagon guy was just in charge of for snacks. So like, why did he charge us?
Honestly,
You fell for it.
I was impressed at how long they kept that joke running all the way through the fucking end credits.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what it would be like if an asteroid hit Earth, like, or is that just like movie whatever? Like, I mean, I guess we wouldn't know, but I wonder like what would it be like? I don't want to know.
Do you guys want a piece of gum? It's $2 each.
I like to think that we would start out like they did with the rocket with the nukes and try to shoot it out in space. We would probably do an unmanned. I don't think we actually need to sacrifice a hero if we can save
You
them.
don't think we send William Shatner up into space for just the publicity stunt?
No,
And I'd like to think that they would actually send them so that we could know. Like, I feel like they would do a bunch of stuff like that.
It's so funny because like all the scientists were saying like, no, we don't even need to send somebody. We can send like unpiloted drones, which they ended up doing at the end, right? It wasn't successful, but it was just Ron Perlman's character cracked me up in more ways than one. Like, because poster boy of what you would think in terms of like, oh, I'm gonna die for my country, and then they turned it around. When they turned it around, I was floored. I was like, all right, this movie. You can't. How the hell are you gonna turn around a fucking rocket and make such a big show out of it?
The rocket's turning around. I don't think rockets work that way.
You had another character comparison to a real life person.
Oh, yeah.
When Leo's character kind
of what
sold out.
Oh. When he got used to the fame.
Yeah, no, I said before that, I think he follows Dr. Fauci, right? Like, came in and it got wrapped up in the fame, and we just haven't got to the part where he cheats on his wife yet.
I can see it.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't.
I mean, at least it was with, the news anchor lady.
Tyler Perry and the other actress, I don't know her name, but they made a perfect Kelly and Michael Strahan.
Yeah.
Keep light.
I think that was the funniest. Just like all the actual comparisons where you could actually call out the person that they were supposed to be portraying.
Yeah. Although I do have to admit, I loved Ariana Grande's part in it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, did anybody else notice that the skater kid at the end of the movie, who he actually was?
No.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
He was the brother?
NJ, I think the other news anchor was Kate Blanchett, right?
Yeah, she was
Brie
Donatella.
Oh,
Avanti.
No, that kid.
Oh, hold on.
That kid was on
Moose
Dune.
From.
He was the main character in Dune.
I never saw Wizards of Waverly Place.
He does look like, what is his name, Max?
Yeah.
He does look really similar to him.
Like a grown-up? Oh, I thought he looked like grown-up Max.
Yeah. Oh, he was also in Interstellar? Who was he in Interstellar?
Excuse me, I'm going to blow my nose.
It's like, he's one of the greatest actors of our generation. We don't even know his name.
Wonka may be coming out.
You say Walker? Like Walker Texas Ranger?
Oh. Wonka.
I've seen the new show. I like it.
It's a good TV show.
You're a Chuck Norris fan?
Yeah. I'm also a Jared Padalecki fan.
I think Valero might sell it, but I know some of Valero's do, but Circle K might sell it. But they have Chuck Norris's water. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's
The kick-ass.
C-Force. Yeah, it's C-Force water, and it's Chuck Force.
Oh my god.
Did you say sea forest water?
C-Force water.
What does that mean?
Like the letter
Yeah.
C.
Oh, got it.
Like Chuck C-Force. Chuck Force.
Oh, okay. I
C
thought you
plus
said
water.
sea forest, and I was like, a forest in the sea? What?
I think that's just a forest of seaweeds, right?
Wait, so it's a
Chuck
chicken that lives in the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
It's a it's a Chuck Norris joke, right? Chuck Norris can drink salt water and able to filter out all the salt into fresh water.
His body naturally does it. Any source of water that Chuck Norris drinks from is a fresh source of water.
So there was one guy we knew who would drink C-Force water on the daily, right?
Oh,
He
God.
swore by it, but then we started calling it Cook Force, and so he never drank it again.
Damn.
Oh, the days
Pulling
when we
somebody
were-
out of their water brand.
Pretty much. It wasn't me. I was just there.
It wasn't me. You said it so guilty when you said that.
No, well, I knew the guy was going through some stuff at the moment, so I wasn't gonna call him that to his face, but other people weren't afraid to.
Add that to your bingo
Goddamn.
card. Bully somebody.
Bully somebody.
What else is on
we
the
have-
bingo card?
We haven't bullied Peach today.
No.
Peach,
Let's
your man
see.
bun looks very handsome.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. That I give it a shake for you.
So technically, do we have a picture of the bingo card? No, okay.
I can pull one up. Give me a quick second.
No worries. So the next one I think would likely happen is that it's going to be the Queen of England.
Mm-mm.
And this is probably a topic I'd like to bring up next week about what's going on in the royal house. I want to try to look up some scandals because they got scandals right now.
Yo, that queen be on that Regina Ron, yo.
Send it to you in Discord, Peach.
The image?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I just downloaded it from our signal. Give me a quick second. Give me a quick second.
Yeah, they have a lot of shit going on over there. So, but Prince
Andrew was
Andrew?
formally renounced.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to talk about that next week. I want to try to look up to see what other scandals the royal family has gone through.
So
You should watch the
one thing,
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview with Oprah.
No.
Does it have the juicy tea?
yeah.
Okay.
But then again,
I never saw
here's
it.
the- No offense, I don't want to hear rich people complain about the problems. It's like,
Yeah, but at the same time, like, she was ostracized every step of the way. Like, even when it came to, like, fertility and, like, her children. Like,
oh, I'm with you. British people suck. I mean, we all know this. We fought a war
All
against them.
right. Here's the bingo
Fuck their
card.
teeth.
Here's the bingo card for everyone that's curious.
Yeah. So when I found it, it only had the new COVID strain and the volcanic eruption X'd out. And then when I saw it, it was attached to a new dangerous trend on TikTok, which I cannot remember for the life of me what it was. And Crazy was the one who pointed out that we did have the wildfire. So
Bingo.
yeah, hopefully we won't have
There you
murder
go.
hornets. So
No murder
not ready for
hornets.
that again.
That should be gone.
Yeah.
The milk
but-
crate challenge.
So what I was gonna ask, I guess since you're gonna be looking up royal stuff, now that more or less Prince Charles had to renounce his claim to the throne. Does that free Prince Harry to come, or not Prince Harry? Who's next in line?
Prince
Harry's
Harry.
older brother.
Oh yeah.
William?
Kate's husband.
William, yeah, Prince William.
William.
So does that fast track Prince William into next in line?
I think it should.
Since that's his dad, he's his son.
Okay.
It's either him or Harry. I don't
Wait,
know.
because
No,
wasn't
William has a-
there?
No, Prince William
Harry,
was...
yeah. In order for Harry to marry Meghan Markle and move to the United States, he had to renounce his claim to the throne
Oh
and title.
Abdicate,
yeah. I
Mhm.
forgot all about that. You're right.
Maybe I would think so, because I feel like I know Charles won't like he's king consort, but I don't know if he would take over if she died, and then it would go to Andrew and then William. So I don't know if it's Charles then William now, or if it just goes straight to William.
So, first in line to succeed Queen Elizabeth II is Prince Charles, her eldest son, followed by Prince William, who is the eldest son of Prince Charles and Diana of Wales.
Yeah, because Prince Andrew is her husband, technically.
Prince Andrew is like
Okay.
ninth in line.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
king, but she's the ruling power.
Yeah. So I think she'll hold on long enough to at least outlive Charles, because I know she doesn't want Charles on the throne either.
Well, yeah, but no,
Yeah.
he cannot. Right, as of now, he cannot claim to be king of England anymore. He had, as part of all the proceedings that he's going through,
Andrew.
Andrew. Oh, Andrew, I guess is the other brother, right?
Andrew's the one that was like had all his royal privileges taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he hasn't cared her forever. Cause isn't he the one that bailed for the other chick?
I don't know, man. We fought a war to get away from that tyranny.
Camilla. No, I think
Camilla.
Camilla is Charles too.
Oh.
Because yeah, Camilla's Andrew.
I don't know. They're all turned the fucked up.
On that note, crazy. What are we doing this Wednesday, this Friday?
I don't know. We didn't discuss anything before you asked me. So,
What do you want to do this Wednesday? I know we didn't even
Are
get
you
to talk
also
about it
working
on
on Black
Saturday.
for Blood?
Oh, we finished that.
no, we finished that.
Yeah.
Oh yay! How did that go?
Good.
It was
We
fun.
finished it.
Yeah. We finished
You
it
never get
with
to play it again.
3 of the original people.
Nice.
I know. Kiwi Head was a little upset that he didn't get to finish.
That's a shame.
Story of his life, right?
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I guess we can play a game. I don't know. I have to have a talk with the booking agent as soon as I get out.
Maybe we can play some Halo multiplayer. We'll see about that.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Air up a Halo night.
All right, Halo Night. I'll create an event. We got D&D tomorrow. I know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we got D&D on Saturday. What?
Yeah.
So how long before my total party kill?
I don't know. Let's see what happens. We're making our way through Cragmaw Castle. So it'll be interesting to see what our adventures it finds. What was the question?
All right, were y'all walking fast?
Were they walking fast? They were like, Druid, you go first.
Making our way through Cragmaw Castle, hoping we don't die.
What are you doing on Sunday, Puzzled?
I don't know. Maybe I'll try to hit up Catalyst for some Final Fantasy. I accidentally missed my stream this Sunday. I was making some phone calls, so I got distracted.
Oops.
I know. Did you? Did you tell NJ and Peach to send you friend codes?
No, I haven't.
What? You got a
Yeah,
Nintendo
that's
Switch?
lit.
Did he get you the white one? Oh, she go
Let's
pull it
see
out.
You have to run all the way across the house because she had it on the bed before the stream.
She didn't bring it to the stream? Man,
There's only
rookie
one
mistakes.
possible point that it would be further away from her, and that was if it was with me right now.
I'm surprised you didn't go grab it to keep it from her.
No,
Just
so that's
kidding.
what I tell her. I was like, okay, where's my new Switch?
Yes, thank you for stalling.
Yes.
What I do.
Nice. How do you like it
Dude.
compared to the other one?
It matches her cat.
It's honestly pretty same. So the big difference is your edges. So like the side to side, it's exactly the same. I think up and down, it's exactly the same. You just lost some of that filler edge, and so that's how the screen got bigger.
Yay! Are you happy?
I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Kiwi head, go get a
downloaded-
Switch.
I know. I was gonna ask for friend codes in the Nintendo chat, and then I remembered we reorganized. So I'm probably gonna throw mine out in the video games chat to see. You said threads only last about a week, don't they?
I can actually set them to last as long as we want. We have all that unlocked. So if I edit the thread, it can last anywhere between like an hour to a week, I think.
2 weeks.
Okay, so you can whenever you make the thread, you can just save like if it's longer or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that way we can have a master thread of people who want to throw out their Switch friend codes too for our Discord. So I was just going to start adding people and have them be like, does Puzzled have a Switch?
Honestly.
So how did I come to receive this Switch?
Yes. How did you receive the Switch?
Oh, I ordered off Amazon, had it delivered to the house.
Okay.
I will.
I'm glad that you got your Switch finally, and I'm super excited that we can all play in our Switch systems. That's exciting.
Oh yeah.
I like how we keep finding ways to exclude Kiwi Head. Like, oh. We're all couples, and now we have Switches. Hey, he finally joined the PC, so he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's catching up.
Dope. Yeah. He'll be there. He'll be with us. He'll be with us soon enough. But we're at least all set up.
Yeah.
Now, let me just show you guys our schedule for this week and run our outro. Thanks for being here, guys.
Is it the right schedule?
It's the right schedule. Starts on the 17th. Today's the 17th, right?
Yes.
Well, that wraps up another great episode. And don't forget to join our amazing and supportive community on Discord.
In our Discord, you can find game nights, watch parties, food pics, Dungeons and Dragons, and more. What's not to love about that? We have a little something for everyone. Head over to our website, officialmillennials.com, and you'll find more info, especially our featured gamer of the week.
Speaking of something for everyone, we have a book club. We read a book almost every month and talk through it together. We also have a special perk for our subs to discuss other books in a series called Chapter 2.
Don't forget to swing by YouTube and drop us a follow at Official Millennials. You can also find us on Twitter at MillsOfficial. We appreciate all the support, and y'all have a good one.
You heard
This
it,
is
James.
an Official Millennials production.
Yes, you heard us next Tuesday.
Ooh, you heard next Tuesday! Fuck yeah! Thanks for
I
being here,
got
guys. Stick around for the raid for Nadehawk 1989, who actually did win something from the Friendo Urendo stream.
You gonna be on Circle Jerks?
What?
Is he gonna be on Circle Jerks?
Not yet, but soon. Maybe.
Yes, accept the invite.